Hello there, Libra. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the week of April the 18th through the 24th. We are going to be pulling one card for each day to get an idea about the highlights for each day and maybe even if there's a theme for the week. So as I'm shuffling and getting ready to put cards down, let me remind you that this is a general reading. And that means that not every single thing I see here is going to apply to every single Libra. However, most of it should apply to most of you. If you would like to have a private reading where I look at only your energies and not the energies of the whole collective, you can find my phone number, my email, all my contact information listed at the website right there at the top of my head. Let's get into your cards, Libra. Saturday, what is this? Saturday, you have the Two of Pentacles showing up in reverse. And Sunday, oh, you've got a double two. You've got the Two of Wands also in reverse. Those of you, if this is your first time to my channel, we do not stress out about reversals here. Reversals many times are better than the cards when they're right side up. So that's not something that makes us stress out. La da 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 da. Okay, so with this Two of Pentacles on Saturday, it feels to me like there might be a lot of things that you have committed to do, and your itinerary may be more full than what you realize. You may not be able to actually be in all the places that you said you could be, doing all the things you said you could do on Saturday. And then looking at Sunday, Two of Wands in reverse just tells me you may feel like you're sort of forced into a situation. I don't know. I think maybe forced is not exactly the right word, but you may feel obligated about some kind of situation on Sunday that you may feel like you need to participate in some way, just because of that obligated feeling more than anything else. Now let's look at the week. Monday's card comes up as the Eight of Swords in reverse, and we'll come back to all these cards in a minute. We're just going to run through the cards quick. And then we've got the Three of Wands showing up for Tuesday. And then we have the Ten of Wands in reverse for Wednesday. The Magician in reverse for Thursday. And the Emperor in reverse for Friday. So let's see here. All right, so Monday, Eight of Swords coming up in reverse. We actually like this card much better than the right side up version. This talks about that there's been some kind of situation that you were thinking in circles on and second guessing yourself. When the Eight of Swords comes up in reverse, this says you have figured out that you're the only one limiting yourself in this situation, and you have thrown those shackles off. You have unlimited yourself, and now you're allowing yourself to move forward with something that makes sense for whatever was the situation that you were thinking in circles on or second guessing. Good for you. I like that a lot. Now, Tuesday, Three of Wands. This talks about making some long-term plans. And so I think that you are making some long-term plans on Tuesday. These can be plans for travel, or they can be plans for other long-term things. Like I want a house that has a fireplace, or I want a ranch. I don't want to have stairs, or you could be making other kinds of long distance plans like, okay, well, whenever I retire, I'm going to do this or that, or whenever I PCS out of this duty station, then I'm going to do this or that, so some kind of long-term plans or travel plans being made on Tuesday. Now let's look at Wednesday. Wednesday, you've got the Ten of Wands coming up in reverse. Ten of Wands in reverse just means that you are putting down some kind of responsibility. So I've seen this card manifest as walking away from a relationship where there was some kind of commitment to the other person, like where they were together enough that they might have to, say, oh, why were you home so late? Oh, that's why. Okay. That type of thing where there's this understanding And so this can be putting down that type of relationship. With the Ten of Wands in reverse, it's not a we've moved in together relationship, but there is some commitment to each other. So this is ending that relationship, could be. It also could be doing something like quitting a job or putting down, something that you were working as a side gig. This could also be maybe you normally on Wednesday take your kid for flute practice at the flute instructor's house, and maybe the flute instructor is out of town, so you don't have to do that. It can be something like that. I even had a guy one time a long time ago tell me when this card came up, he actually forgot to do something that he had taken responsibility for that he was going to do. So it can be anything like that. There's some kind of responsibility that you're letting go of. I don't know what that is in my camera. Pretty wild. All right, let's look at Thursday. Here we have the Magician showing up in reverse. Magician showing up in reverse. I want you to be careful, Libra, about anything that you sign today, any kind of contracts or agreements, even anything that you agree to verbally. If you can put that off for a day or two, that would probably be a good thing. This Magician in reverse can be somebody that's coming in that is, a little bit of a trickster, somebody who's kind of sneaky. Um, and it can be something little. It can be like the kid that has the piece of bubble gum that you grab and then you get snapped on the finger or something, a practical joker type thing. But I have also seen this card show up to indicate things like the person trying to con grandma out of her 401k or whatever. So just be careful about anything that you sign. Try to procrastinate at least till the next day. That way, if there is other information, it has a chance to come out. There's lots of different versions of scams out there. This is just a little heads up that you want to be careful, not fall into something like that. And I don't know why, but I'm being nudged to tell you about this. So recently I just moved. Those of you who haven't been watching that long wouldn't know that, but recently I just moved. And in the process of looking for a place, I found a place that I was actually very interested in. And I went and opened up the lockbox and with the code that I was given and went in and looked around at this place and really liked it. And then something just felt a little bit off about the way the whole transaction was being handled because I had never seen a person. Nobody was showing me around the place. And there was just some other things that made me feel like, oh, this is kind of off. So I decided before I actually gave any money the to the apartment owner that I was going to talk to the neighbors and see if they even knew what his name was, if they recognized him or not as the landlord. And sure enough, turns out it was not the landlord. It was just some dude that could go onto the website of this apartment complex and you could schedule a touring and you could get a code to go into these apartments through their website. And so that's what this guy was doing. And so anytime I would go over to see the apartments, he would get a code for me, let me know what the code was, and I would go in thinking that I was actually interacting with somebody from that apartment complex. So it ended up that I didn't actually fall for it, but this is the kind of thing that can show up with a Magician in reverse. So just be on your toes. Make sure that you know exactly who you're dealing with and what you're getting into whenever that card shows up here on Thursday. And I would say even give it or take a day or two, because I've had people say this stuff happens a day earlier for them than what I'm seeing it. And other people say it happens usually the next day. Most people it happens on the day, but not everybody. So I would say give or take an extra 24 hours on either side. Just be careful for sure on Thursday about what you're signing, what you're really getting into. And then let's look at Friday. So Friday we have the Emperor in reverse. Now the Emperor in reverse usually shows up whenever we're feeling like we don't have control of something. And so I think that you guys can actually change this energy. Because if you're paying attention Thursday and making sure you don't sign anything like I almost gave those people some like $500, But if you're making sure that you're not, sending any money, signing anything that you're not very sure you know exactly what's happening, then I think you get to miss out on this feeling like you're not in control of a situation on Friday. Because I feel like if you do get snagged by this trickster, shall we say, then Thursday you're feeling a little out of control because they've already got your money or they've already got your signature. Now you're hooked. Now what do you do? So I really think it's important. Pay attention for any tricksters showing up Thursday, maybe even early Wednesday, but pay attention so you don't get yourself locked into a situation that, you have to work to figure out how to get out of. Okay? So that's what we have for the week. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you so much. I know that I'll see some of you here for readings this week, but the rest of you I'll see back on the next video. Peace.